Like I always do before an album comes out, excited, anxious, that kind of thing. Um, but as far as like what's changed, nothing's really changed.
Here's what people are talking about. This morning, President Trump went on a Twitter rant about fake news and threatened to revoke NBC's broadcast license.
What the wave is right now, you know what I'm saying? And kind of figuring out like, okay, well, I don't want to necessarily box myself in and conform to anything, but how can I stay current?
Everybody's talking about this. Last night at the BET Awards, Eminem did a 4-minute freestyle rap criticizing Trump. Of course, the president isn't just going to ignore something like that. So today, Trump clapped back.
I dare you to watch Trump's attempt at rapping without cringing so hard you pull a muscle. After Eminem called him out for being a privileged billionaire who's never faced real struggle, Trump tried to prove he was down with the people. And it went horribly wrong. Try not to laugh as we show you the moment Trump thought he could battle one of the greatest rappers of all time. This isn't just funny, it's a masterclass in what happens when someone who's lived in gold towers his whole life tries to connect with regular Americans. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when Trump thought he was untouchable?
As I go through like my 2-year process is usually around what it takes when I start working on an album. As I go through that and I make a few songs a month, what I'll do is if each song gets better, then I'll have, okay, I got 2 songs that I feel confident about. Let me see if I can get 3.
I mean, Trump was mad.
Was he really?
Trump was mad, but he was also a little confused. Today, he told people to boycott the Eminem store. And you go, no, that's good. Reese's Pieces are the best.
Actually was on the original hook, and she had sent it to my manager, Paul, or played it for Paul. And then Paul liked it and sent it to Rick Rubin when I was out in LA working with him.
They should have their own store. Meanwhile, Attorney General Jeff Sessions has been trying to crack down on marijuana use across the country, and Obama's former Attorney General said it's basically an obsession for him.
There he was, perched in his golden tower like a king, wolfing down cheeseburgers while firing off tweets about his own greatness. The man literally had gold-plated toilets while regular folks were struggling to pay rent. Talk about being out of touch. Before Eminem came along and flipped the script, Trump had created this bizarre fantasy world where criticism just bounced off him like Superman. Anyone who dared question the mighty Donald. Losers, haters, sad. That was his entire playbook. Block, insult, repeat. It worked pretty well until someone with actual verbal skills decided to enter the ring. The contrast couldn't be more stark. On one side, you had Trump with his golden elevators and private jets. On the other, you had the reality of places like Detroit, where Eminem grew up, where people were dealing with real problems like job losses and crumbling infrastructure. While Trump was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, Eminem fought his way up from nothing. One guy knew struggle, and the other guy's biggest struggle was probably deciding which golf course to play on. And let's talk about Trump's weird relationship with celebrities. The man desperately craved their approval while simultaneously acting like he didn't care. He'd brag about knowing famous people one minute, then call them overrated hacks the next when they wouldn't kiss his ring. His fragile ego couldn't handle rejection from the cool kids' table. That's exactly why Eminem's takedown hit so hard. He targeted Trump's wealth and privilege because it exposed the biggest lie in Trump's whole act. Here was a billionaire who'd never known a day of struggle in his life, somehow convincing working-class voters he was their champion. "I'm just like you," screamed the man who literally sits on golden thrones. It was like watching a wolf in a very bad sheep costume. Trump had spent his entire life in a bubble of yes men and gold-plated everything. Nobody had ever really challenged him face to face. His money had always protected him, creating this fantasy that he was untouchable. But money can't buy immunity from getting absolutely destroyed by someone with actual talent and authenticity. Money might shield you from criticism, but it can't protect you from making a complete fool of yourself on camera. When Eminem's freestyle hit Trump like a verbal sledgehammer, our Orange Commander-in-Chief didn't just get mad, he got even, or at least he tried to. And that's how America witnessed the birth and immediate death of Trump's rap career. After getting verbally annihilated, Trump felt he absolutely needed to respond. His bruised ego couldn't handle being shown up by some rapper from Detroit. So what did the 70-something billionaire do? He decided to challenge Eminem at his own game. The problem? Trump couldn't rhyme his way out of a paper bag. The White House went into panic mode. While staffers frantically tried to talk him out of it, Trump insisted on fighting fire with fire. Behind closed doors, aides were reportedly scrambling to find ghostwriters who could craft something, anything, that wouldn't make their boss look completely ridiculous. But Trump, convinced of his own genius, pushed forward with his DIY approach. Then came the moment that should go down in presidential history, alongside Nixon's "I am not a crook." Trump appeared on camera, attempting to rap. And oh boy, what a tragedy it was. He tried to make Nancy Pelosi rhyme with pepperoni and China with hyena. At one point, he even shouted, "Make rap great again," while doing what can only be described as a dance that looked like a mix between a malfunctioning robot and a penguin on roller skates. His delivery was absolutely painful, like watching a substitute teacher reading rap lyrics off a teleprompter. The whole thing had the rhythm and flow of a garbage disposal trying to chew through a metal spoon. Trump's staff tried desperately to hide the evidence, but the video leaked faster than the P-tape rumors, instantly becoming viral meme material. Late-night TV had a field day. Jimmy Kimmel turned it into weeks of comedy gold, with segments showing Trump's awkward rhyming attempts alongside actual footage of Eminem's skilled delivery. Social media exploded with remixes, parodies, and edits that only amplified the embarrassment. The whole debacle just proved Eminem's point better than Eminem himself ever could. Here was living proof of Trump's complete disconnect from the reality of everyday Americans. The man who claimed to speak for the forgotten working class couldn't even understand the basics of a cultural art form that originated from those very communities. So that's a wrap on the rap battle nobody asked for, but everybody ended up needing. What Eminem did at the BET Hip Hop Awards wasn't just some random celebrity hot take. It was a cultural moment that critics say will be analyzed for years to come. While Trump fumbled around trying to look cool, Eminem showed what happens when authentic talent confronts privileged bluster. The real takeaway: you can buy fancy buildings, slap your name on everything, and even buy the presidency, but you can't purchase street credibility or genuine connection with everyday Americans. Eminem later explained that artists have a responsibility to speak out against injustices and politicians who fail to represent the people. It was his way of encouraging others to voice their opinions without fear. Next time some billionaire in an expensive suit claims they understand your struggles, just remember the day Slim Shady called BS. An orange turd couldn't even rhyme his way out of a paper bag.